Alright, so this is part 2 to the last video I did, where I looked back at behind-the-scenes stories from some of my videos, and I wasn't able to finish all the videos I did in 2023, so I'm going to finish them now. So on the last video, I left off with talking about our trip to Coeur d'Alene, and that was a camping trip. We also had another camping trip where we went to Craters of the Moon. It's a national park here in Idaho, and it is really cool. It's basically a place where a really long time ago, there was tons of volcanoes everywhere. Lava rock all over the place, and it's really cool. Two of the coolest things we saw there, first off, we saw a gigantic carpenter ant nest when we lifted over a rock. It was so cool. But the one thing that was cooler than that is when we flipped over another rock and there was a blue skink sitting under there. And it was so cool to see blue. When you see a blue animal in nature, it is so awesome. Next up is the Nevada bumblebee video. So there was a species of bumblebees that I didn't have that I really needed called the Nevada bumblebee. And I was looking for it for quite some time. And the reason I wanted it so much was because tons of years ago, there was a ginormous one that I caught and thought it was something I already had and let it go. It was not something I already had. So, once I realized that 3 years later, I got so angry with myself, so I would go outside every single day and look for it, and I would never find it. Until one day, we went to Meridian and finally found it on a flower, and I caught it, and it was exactly what I wanted, and I was really happy about it. But hold up a minute. The one I caught was a worker. The one I caught years ago was a queen. So, I have a list of all the Idaho bug species that I want to get this summer. And a lot of them have a very small chance of being found. But I will look for all of them and hopefully I will catch most of them. Because there's a lot of common ones on here. And look what one of them is. Next up is a very short video that should not have been short. In July, I went to Illinois and Iowa, and it was very fun because first we went to Chicago and did all sorts of fun stuff, and I even saw Sue. And then we went to Iowa to go to a wedding. In the basement of some place, me and my cousins were messing around down there, and we saw an extremely scary looking elevator. I don't know, we were just finding something to do. But yeah, eventually, me and my dad went out looking for bugs in the morning, and we walked, we were walking in the parking lot of an Applebee's, and there were tons of holes in the ground, and there were great golden digger wasps flying in and out of them, and I caught one, and it was a lot bigger than I expected, but yeah, very cool. Next up is the giant bald-faced hornet nest video. In August, my dad was like scrolling through like some sort of website, and he saw a post that talked about a hornet's nest at a pond, and it was close to where we live, so we went to that pond, and when we got there, we circled around the entire pond, and eventually we found it, and it was still there, it was still active, and I decided to record and make a video out of it. Not a lot of funny behind-the-scenes stories for that one, other than the fact that afterwards I got a big chocolate bar, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. We just found out about it and went there to look at it. Next up is the video where I caught the monarch butterfly. That is probably the best monarch catch I've ever had in my life, because I've caught monarchs several times every year, and each time I would catch it and release it. That time, I caught it and let it crawl in my hand, and it stayed there for a while, and then it flew away. It was so cool. Alright, so first of all, that video wasn't even supposed to be a monarch video. It was supposed to be a hopefully I find something and make a video out of it video. And I found something, a really good something, and made a video out of it. Also, like weeks later, we went back to that same golf course, because that's where I found it, and there were tons of monarchs all over the place. I didn't catch one because I already caught one a few weeks earlier at the same place, but there were so many monarchs there. It got to the point where it wasn't even interesting anymore. I'm obviously kidding, they're always interesting. But it was so cool. Next is the California video in October, and that video was kind of hard to make because there wasn't really a lot of bugs there, and I'm not complaining because I still got a lot of cool bugs. It just seemed like there weren't as many bugs as there normally would be. But the one thing that drove me crazy throughout the entire trip was knowing that we were going to get back the day before Halloween at midnight. That was a problem because the day we got back was Monday, and The next day was Halloween, and I had school on that day. To make it worse, I had a test review I had to study for that same day. And I also wanted to pin all my bugs that I got from California. So I was really anxious about that, but it all worked out, and I did good on my test, and I got all the bugs pinned. But there you go. Those are all the good behind-the-scenes stories. 2023 Hymenoptera Humes YouTube videos. That was a very good year for Hymenoptera Humes, and I'm really glad about the things I caught, the things I recorded, caught on camera, took pictures of, and yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.